welcome to my channel. I am a 30-something-year-old woman who is going to nursing school as a second career. So I kind of just wanted to give you guys the whole rundown about how I got here, as well as tell you guys a little bit about myself in the process. That's kind of what this video is going to be about, just telling you a little bit about me, telling you a little bit about how I got into a nursing school, how I chose to come here. And if I'm looking at my computer, it's because I wrote down some questions that I kind of wanted to go through with you guys, because I know that's a lot already. So about me, like I said, I'm 31. I guess I should tell you guys. I live in Washington, but I'm originally from Southern California. I've lived in Washington kind of on and off since like 2017. But I've been here for good since like 2022. Like I said, this going to nursing school is like a second career for me, right? So I originally went to school for mass communications and media. Would I say that got me places? Not necessarily. I worked in property management for a really long time. That's like what made me the most money. And I also dibble-dabbled in doing like some social media management and stuff while I was in California as well. But for the most part, property management, let's just keep it simple. So in 2023, I remember, I think it was June of 2023, I was talking to my boyfriend and I was like, what if I just went back to college and I went for nursing? And he was like, I mean, you can. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I can. So I immediately went on my computer, registered for the local community college to start taking prerequisites, because previously didn't take a lot of science classes. I know for nursing you need a lot of science. So I registered and I was like, we're gonna just do one quarter, and if I make it, I make it through that quarter. If I don't, I don't. It just is what it is. Fast forward to now, I made it through the quarter. I made it through, I think I took three or four total quarters of prerequisites. That was mainly science classes, so it was extremely hard. And at the time I was working full-time in property management, and I was going to school full-time for these prerequisites. So that was extremely difficult because I was trying to manage my schedule, manage my relationship, manage my work life. It was really, really hard. But like I said, it took me about 3 or 4 quarters. So it was about a year of grinding through that in order to make sure that I had the grades and made myself a good candidate to get into nursing school, which, as you guys know, is not easy. So I would say about 6 months into my prerequisites, I took a CNA class, essentially, because a lot of the nursing schools want you to have either that license, or they want you to have experience, or they want you to have both. At least here in Washington, if you have both, it gets you more points on your application depending on what school you go to. So about halfway through, I had that conversation with my boyfriend and I was like, look, I finished this CNA class. What if I just quit my job working in property management, which I was making a lot of money, and I start working as a CNA in one of these hospitals to gain experience, actually working in a hospital, because I've never done that before, and then make myself more desirable, I guess you could say, on my applications. And after we talked about it for a while, we decided that we could do it. So it was obviously a huge step because it's a huge pay decrease going from what I was making to being a CNA in a hospital and making like basically half of what I was making before. But at the time, like I said, this is only about halfway through. So I was still working full time. Like, I was working full time at the hospital, plus I was going to school full time. And because I wasn't making as much money as I was in property management, I felt like I needed to work more to like make up some of that income. So there would be weeks where I would go to work because I worked a night shift. So I worked from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then I had class from 8 to 12. So 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it would be work 7 p to 7 a, class from 8 a to 12 p, come home, go to sleep, fall asleep around like 1:30, and then my alarm is going off by 4:30, 5 o'clock to go to work the next day. And it was like a vicious cycle like that for another like 6 months until I was finally finished with my prerequisites, and I was able to apply for nursing school. So that's kind of like a little bit of background about how I got here. Once I finally applied for nursing school and I got accepted, I made yet another big decision to go part-time at work so that I could focus more on school, because I knew that it was going to be hard with going to work still full-time and like potentially even pushing myself to work more than the regular full-time FTE, plus also doing school. So it's time to crack open. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. So one of the questions down here, or that I wrote here, is like, why did I choose nursing as a second career? And mostly, I guess the biggest thing is that I chose nursing because I always wanted to do it. Like, I remember when I was in high school and I was applying to colleges, I like had nursing in mind, but at the time, like 18-year-old me was just not confident in how smart I was. And I thought that I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I thought that I would fail out. I thought that I would fail the prerequisite courses and that I would never even make it to nursing school. So that's how I ended up going to school for something else. But I don't regret that, because the experience that I had doing what I did before and like the experiences that I had during college, I don't know if I would have been able to have those same experiences had I gone to nursing school straight off the bat. So long story short, I always wanted to go to nursing school, and it was something that just never went out of my head. And here I am at 31 years old deciding that it's a good time to try again. I think this always comes down to like what kind of nursing program you choose to do. So I don't know about like where everyone else lives, like what kind of programs they have, but so there's an ADN, which is Associate's Degree in Nursing. There's a BSN, like traditional BSN, and then there is like an ABSN, so Advanced or Accelerated Bachelor of Nursing. And so I was kind of juggling between actually all three of those. Like, I didn't know which one I was going to choose until it was like down to the wire of like actually applying for schools, because I originally thought like, I'm 30. I cannot, at the time that I was applying, I was 30. So I was like, I'm 30. I cannot spend another 2, maybe even 3 years in school. Like, I need to get this done. But what I ended up doing was doing an ADN program. So I am in an ADN program, so Associate's Degree in Nursing, and we'll get into why in a second. But not only is it an ADN, but it's a part-time program. So it's still 2 years, like a regular traditional BSN or ADN. But the only difference is that I don't have summers off. So kind of how it works is like during those summer quarters when we're still having class, and everybody else is off. So like right now it's summer quarter. And oh, I guess I should have started with this. So I'm in my first year, second semester or second quarter of nursing school. So instead of having this summer off like everybody else, I am having lab and clinical and simulation through the summer. And I believe it'll be like that next summer as well. But essentially it's still 2 years. I did it this way because as I was getting closer to the time of applying, I realized like there's no way I can quit my job and just focus on school 24/7. Like I do have a boyfriend that's like able to support in a lot of ways, but like quitting my job just seemed not possible. Like I have too much to pay for, like I'm grown, I have bills, like I don't have anybody that's gonna support me and take over my bills if I stop working. So I needed to keep working. And then with a traditional BSN or ADN program, I'm talking to people who I know who are in these programs and they still have classes like 4 days a week. They're in class Monday through Thursday, sometimes like 8 hours plus a day. And I'm like still trying to see how that fits into my life. And I'm like, okay, if I go to class Monday through Thursday and I dropped down to part-time at work, that means I can work just the weekends. But then when do I study? Like it just wasn't clicking for me. So I felt like for me, doing a part-time program where most of the time I have classes like 2, maybe 3 days a week, it gives me like at least 1 or 2 days off where I can have a day to like just study or relax or do whatever I need to do. Granted, it's still hard. It does not feel part-time at all, but it's working better than I feel like any of the other options would have worked for me. So that's how I balance like school and work. With everything else, it's kind of just like, it's really hard. Like people always talk about like the balance between your personal life, your work life, your school life, and it is really hard. And I'm very new to this, so I'm still figuring it out. Like you kind of just have to not take for granted the little moments that you do have to be able to like focus either on yourself, whether that is like taking a long shower, going on a walk, rotting in the bed. Like none of those things should make you feel bad if you're just stepping away from your computer to study, like to not study for a little bit. So it's hard, and I do get down on myself a lot because when I'm like playing a game on my phone or I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm like, oh my God, I could be studying right now. Like I have an exam tomorrow. Like how am I supposed to focus on how am I going to pass the exam if I keep watching this YouTube video? So it's hard, but I feel like you just have to give yourself grace. And I feel like me being 31, I've learned through my life to give myself grace, but it is something that I am still working on. Trust me, like I'm not like a saint. I'm not good at it yet, but I'm working on it, and I've learned at least the basics. What is the hardest part about nursing school for me so far? Honestly, I think I would say staying grounded within myself. Like I mentioned earlier, like sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in like making sure that I'm studying and I'm doing like as best as I can possibly do on these exams, and like, oh my God, like what percentage do I need to get to keep my A in the class? And while those things are important, like I feel like at points I do let it take over my personality, and I need to learn like when to hone it in and like use it to my advantage, and when to just let it go, because not everything needs to be perfect. Like I don't need to pass with like a 4.5 GPA. I just need to do my absolute best, and then that's enough. But sometimes I feel like even if I'm doing my absolute best and it's more than enough, I'm like, oh my God, I could have done better. Like, and I don't know that I've ever had that mentality like when I was in college before. I think I was just like going through the motions, and I was like, oh shit, I got a C, like, but now if I got a C now, I would probably have a mental breakdown. So I don't know where this came from. But I feel like that's the hardest part, is just like staying grounded within myself, doing my best and knowing that my best is okay. And I know that I'm not the only person who goes through that. So yeah, it's not just a me thing. I feel like a lot of nursing students in particular go through this, and maybe we just all need to have a discussion about how to get over that together. And then another thing that I put down is like, how do I stay organized? And the biggest thing is 50% of the time I'm a planner girly. I have a planner, I write in it every month, but I don't pull it out every single time I sit down to study. I think I'm just like constantly checking my like school, you know, like our Canvas, if you guys know what that is, like our Canvas calendar, like daily, checking emails daily. And then when I sit down to study or do work or whatever, like I know exactly what needs to be done. I think I check my work schedule like 3 times a day as if it changes, but it doesn't. And I'm the one who set the schedule, so I should know. And then we also have a calendar in our room that has written out like every single day that I work, every single day that I have class, and then important like exam dates and stuff like that. So the biggest thing in nursing school is to stay organized, because it's like you have to do so many things. Like you can easily miss a due date, you can easily somehow miss class, which I don't even know what I would do if I did that. You can miss like a deadline, because some things are due at 10 p.m., some things are due at 11:59, some things are due at 11 p.m. So it's just like, just making sure that whatever type of calendar that you have and whatever type of calendar that you are using, whether it be a planner, whether it be your school calendar, that you're checking it consistently and always updating it as needed. I would say that that's the biggest thing for me. Essentially, like, if you got to this point in the video, I just want to say thank you so much, because this is my first YouTube video, and it's obviously like a little scary to put yourself out there. Like, I personally, up until this point, have not told anybody besides like my closest family and friends that I'm in nursing school, because you know what they say, like, just pop out when it's done, and like don't let people prey on your downfall. So this is like something that's extremely personal to me, but I have been wanting to like share the journey. So I feel like sharing it with strangers might be easier. And I feel like there's so many vlogs that I watch, like nursing school vlogs, and I relate to these people so much, especially now that I'm actually going through it. So I just hope that I can be a relatable face for you guys. If you guys are choosing nursing as a second career, if y'all are in your 30s and you decided to go to nursing school, like, I would just love to see that people that are like me can relate to me and like appreciate this journey together. So I'm gonna say that that's all for now. What you will be seeing on this channel is vlogs. I don't know if I'll make them daily vlogs, weekly vlogs, a few days in the life. I have some stuff already put together that I'm gonna try to get out within the next few days. But yeah, I am so happy that you guys are here again. Thank you so much.